It's funny, isn't it? We look up at the stars and we just can't help ourselves. We give them stories, turn them into heroes and monsters and, well, whatever else our imaginations can cook up.
It's true, yeah. I mean, it's like this primal need to fill the silence, to make sense of the vastness by giving it a familiar face.
Exactly.
Right.
Which, in a roundabout way, brings us to today's deep dive. We're tackling this piece, The Shadow of the Cosmos. And let me tell you, it's got that whole facing the cosmic vibe in spades.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. And just to be clear, we're not suddenly like experts on space or anything. It's the ideas this story kicks up that we're really interested in.
Right, right. Because fiction, it's like this testing ground for the really big questions, isn't it? Existence, meaning what happens when you've got power we can barely even comprehend.
Okay, so get this. The Shadow of the Cosmos.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, we meet this entity, this shadow, and oh boy, does the author lay it on thick with the awe factor.
I like it already. Lay it on me.
Imagine something so huge that entire galaxies are like dust motes compared to it, drifting through the universe. And get this, it leaves behind these echoes of civilizations that are long gone.
Echoes.
Yeah, like cosmic footprints, but way creepier. And knowing you mystery fiend, I bet this detail already has you hooked, huh?
Oh, absolutely. There's something about remnants, like trying to decipher the whispers of something that's not there anymore. It's like how in cosmology we've got dark matter, can't see the stuff directly, but we know it's there, messing with gravity, shaping what we can see.
Ooh, okay, that just went deep fast, but I love it.
What if those echoes are like that? Invisible remnants still tugging at the fabric of the universe, even though whatever made them is long gone.
Okay, see, now that's just playing with my mind. And here I thought we were just easing into a fictional story, but it gets, well, wilder. The story really hits home how lonely the shadow is. I mean, imagine, you've seen stars be born, die, whole civilizations rise and fall.
And yet with all that experience, there's this deep, abiding isolation. The text, it describes the shadow's thoughts as waves in a void, like the ultimate existential loneliness, but then you multiply it by like a cosmic scale.
Right. Makes your head spin a little, doesn't it? Like, what would connection even mean at that level of existence? If something as vast as the shadow craves it, does that mean it's just baked into the universe itself?
It's a question, honestly, that people have been wrestling with for centuries. And this story, it takes all that existential angst, all that wondering, and it dials it up to 11. But here's where things get really interesting. Because the story suggests that this shadow, just by existing, might be accidentally causing destruction on a massive scale.
Wait, hold on. Unintentional? So it's not like this shadow's some kind of cosmic jerk going around, I don't know, stepping on galaxies or something.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's more like, think of it this way. You've got this being, right? So huge, so different from anything we can even imagine, that just by existing, it throws things off kilter.
Off kilter how?
I mean, think about it. Its gravitational pull alone could be ripping apart solar systems without even meaning to. Or the energy it gives off could be setting off supernovas left and right. The story doesn't mess around when it comes to that kind of power,
Yeah, it really makes you think about how we see things, doesn't it? We think destruction. We think someone's out there swinging a bat. But what if sometimes it's just not existing? Just the sheer scale of something being so far beyond us, we can't even process it.
Exactly, exactly. And it makes you wonder then if there's something like the shadow out there, something so seemingly destructive, is there something else too? Something that balances it out, like a force of creation working alongside it, even if we're blind to it.
Okay, now my head's really spinning. So we've got this entity, right? Awe-inspiring, terrifying, lonely, but maybe a floating cataclysm too. Is there any good news here?
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's starting to get a little existentially carsick.
Well, that's where this story takes a turn. And I gotta say, I found it both kind of creepy and really beautiful at the same time. It asks this question, what if, when it comes to destruction, our understanding's just totally off base? What if those echoes the shadow leaves behind, those pieces of gone civilizations, what if they're actually like seeds for something new to begin?
Whoa, okay, now you're just messing with me. You're saying even with all this seeming destruction, there could be rebirth, creation coming out of it.
That seems to be the hint, yeah. It's never said outright, not really, but it's there in the story. These little whispers suggesting maybe, just maybe, the shadow isn't just the end of everything. Maybe it's like, I don't know, a cosmic gardener of sorts, tidying up the universe in ways we can't even fathom.
Okay, that is both deeply unsettling and kind of hopeful at the same time. It's like,
Yeah.
what if the universe is just playing on such a huge scale with cycles of creation and destruction so massive that our little human brains just can't even grasp the full picture? It's weird. We started off talking about how we humans slap stories onto the cosmos, right? But this whole time, I swear, this Shadow of the Cosmos story, it's been doing the same thing to me.
How so?
I keep trying to, pin it down. Good, bad, creative force, destructive one. But the story just keeps getting bigger, busts out of whatever box I try to put it in.
See, that's the beauty of something that really makes you think, isn't it? It doesn't hand you answers on a silver platter. If anything, it makes you wonder if there are any easy answers at all, especially when you're talking about something as huge and unknowable as, well, the entire universe.
Totally. And this whole thing about how destruction might actually have the seeds of creation within it, that's really stuck with me. It's like, what if we've got it all wrong? Our human ideas of beginning end, what if they're just way too small,
Makes you wonder, right? What if what we see as the end, that's just a beginning we haven't got the eyes to see yet? There's that saying, the universe, it's not hostile, but it ain't exactly friendly either. It just is.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying on its own, honestly.
But what if that just being that indifference, what if that's its own kind of potential, like the ultimate blank slate?
Okay, now that is a thought to chew on. So, as we wrap up our little deep dive here, what's the takeaway for our listener? What do we walk away with, besides maybe a touch of existential dread?
Honestly, sometimes the best thing is to just sit with the unknown. Even the parts that make us a little uneasy. Because that's where things get interesting. Reminds us how small we are, how much is going on that we can't even grasp, and how our ideas of creation, destruction, heck, even existence itself might be way too limited.
Like we're trying to stuff the entire cosmos into a teacup, when what we need is just a bigger imagination.
Exactly that. And sometimes it's stories like this, even the kind of creepy ones, that help us do that. To remember, even staring out into the biggest unknown there is, there's always more to learn, more to find out. And hey, maybe even a little bit of hope tucked away in the weirdest places.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to everyone listening out there, don't be afraid to poke around in those shadowy corners of thought. Question what you think you know about the universe and where you fit into it all. Because sometimes it's in those moments, staring into the dark and not knowing the answer, that's where we find out something truly amazing about ourselves and the wild, ever-changing story we're all a part of.